How's it going? This is Coach Ray with the Brownsville Royal Knights. Good evening. How's it going? You guys doing all right? Well, great. I'm glad you guys are here. So remember to like, follow, and share the Brownsville Royal Knight page. And we can also see this on the YouTube channel of ACTITUD y PASIÓN. And so, yeah. Here we go. There's the banner, guys. Today we're going to go over some puzzles and maybe talk about some books and maybe talk to whoever else wants to come in. Coach Dave is a little under the weather, but he's feeling a little bit better, but he doesn't feel good, so he's not going to come in tonight. So as the CC what happens, we'll see who can come in to either tonight or maybe in the next couple of shows, and we'll see how that goes. So anyway, guys, had a great day, had some great lessons. A new student, Jose, shout out to Jose. Maybe you're watching me, maybe you're not, but hey, awesome job today on your test lesson. Guys, again, it's the Christmas time is over, New Year's break is over, school starts tomorrow. For some of you already started, but in some cases, school starts tomorrow, if not Tuesday starts. So, hey, get back to it. Regionals is coming up in February, so we got to get ready for that. Final month, to train. Regionals is on the first weekend, February the 3rd and 4th, I believe. And then, of course, we have state. And then, of course, we got nationals. And in Texas, we're having a national in April. It was a bit of middle school national here in Texas. Then I think New Hampshire is the middle school national, and high school is somewhere up there. I'm not too sure, but it's out of Texas. But anyway, guys, so get ready for this. Who's out there? Everybody's out there? Okay, cool deal. So, guys, let me show you, without further ado, let me share a puzzle, and let's start working on some puzzles today. Let's see what we're going to start out. Let's start with some puzzles here. All right, so here we go. Here we have this puzzle. Let me change this little frame up here, and here we go. So, great. We got white to move, black just move the king over, right? White just move the king over, and let me make sure we're on all the pages. We're on YouTube under ACTITUD y PASIÓN. We're on the Brownsville Royal Knight page. There it is. It's streaming live right now. I want to make sure all the notifications and all of that is going. Hold on, one more. There it is, and it's also streaming under my personal page, under Coach Ray Martinez, or Ray Martinez page, right? So anyway, here we go, guys. So white to move, as I always say, you always want to look at the squares around the king. You want to look at the color of the square the king's on. You want to look at your long range species. We got a bishop that's coming in over here, all the way going across. We have the rook that's coming across, can go in this direction. We got the white queen that's aiming right through here. And of course, maybe, I don't know if we could do something about going through there, or I don't know, maybe going this way, and then a cutting across. But it's always all about lines. You got to learn to see diagonals. Those are rows of squares of the same color, traveling in the same color. You got to look at files. Those are rows of squares that go up and down the board, and ranks, the rows of squares that go side to side. It's all about the lines. It's about both colors, the dark squares and the light squares. And we want to make sure we can control these, all right? So what do you think here? What would be the best move here? White to move. What do you think, huh? Sometimes there is a sacrifice. To expose the king to another check, if that's the case. But what do you think? Here? What can we do in this situation? What do you think? All right. So these chests are provided by leechess.org. Very, very cool website. Excellent. I think one of the best training sites there is out there on the net. So, guys, definitely get in there, and hey, we can play games and train and all that on that. I do have a team on there called Brownsville Royal not Brownsville, Royal Knights Success Team. You can go in and look for it under clubs, join in, and you can play with all my students, and man, almost play just about every single day with me. And I'll be able to give you tips on that. All right, so white to move. What's the move here? We got good check. Can we look for a good check? Bishop doesn't give a check because it's the wrong color. We have the rook. Rook's too far to give a wrong color. Hey, Daniel, how's it going? Come on in. What do you think about this move here? We do have a check with queen takes pawn check. Of course, king takes or bishop takes. So really, there's not much activity as far as that. Then we also want to look at attacking unprotected pieces. So the unprotected piece in this case would be the rook here on e8, right? I'm sorry, the rook here on d8 rather, and we also have the queen here on e3 that are unprotected. Of course, we do have this little pawn here. So those are the three targets. Always look at the unprotected pieces. So what do we think? What can we do? How can we gain some advantage here? What do you think? Huh? Any ideas of what we can possibly create here? Well, we do have rook here. It's protected by the queen. It's attacking the queen. The queen can't go there because the pawn takes. The can't go here, can't go here, can't go there, can't go here, can't go here. Well, actually, she could go here. If the rook moves, she could go here. She can't go down there, and she could go here, and she could go there. So if the rook goes, there's this moves. If the rook goes here, right? What else? We do have maybe queen. Queen goes there. And of course, queen takes queen, rook takes. So I don't know about much of advantage there. What else? What else can we do? Push pawn? Maybe no, not push pawn. We push this pawn and we get checkmated down here because of bishop and queen battery right here, checkmate. So we can't do that one. Now, however, we do have uh, maybe there's a threat. I mean, maybe we can put the queen here. We create without this, the rook takes, but then rook checks, and the king just hides, and then there's nothing else. Uh, bishop sacrifice. Bishop sacrifice would not be a check, so doesn't have to capture. The queen can just go maybe check here, and then maybe bring the rook over or something. So what do you think here? Any ideas to this one? Interesting puzzle, right? Interesting puzzle. What do we think? What do we see? Huh? What do we see? So let's look at some stuff. We said we had the queen was unprotected. We had the knight, the rook was unprotected. The queen cannot attack the rook other than here, and she gets captured. And we could maybe the only reason we would sacrifice the queen is to get the rook back there. But the king hides here, and then there's nothing. Maybe if this pawn were not be here, then maybe might be a good idea. But no, there's nothing there. So queen sacrifice. We have the rook down here, and uh, what else can happen there? We have that rook down there. We have rook right here, and I don't know. What do you think? We do have. What do you see? I want to go here with my queen. That's where I really want to go, so I can go checkmate. But the rook's there. So what if we went sacrifice the rook? Rook takes. We go here. Can he pretty much stop it? Let's say pawn pushes. Uh, that's just too slow. Well, pawn pushes would be queen there, attacking here and attacking there, grabbing that guy again, and then again he hides here. Um, and then again, still we can maybe go a little bit closer to try to get into there. I don't know. What do we think here? Let's see. Daniel, I think Daniel has some moves. I think my first was bishop sack, but I saw it doesn't work. Yeah. The bishop sack, yeah, it doesn't work because again the computer just threw it out, but it doesn't work. So I'm thinking maybe. I mean, what if we try queen trap, queen trace? I don't know about that one, but yeah, queen trace doesn't work obviously. Then the other one is of course the queen sacrifice, but bishop takes and nothing happens there. Um, so what do we got? We then have rook. Um, we man, Well, a queen captures, queen here, he goes there, bishop, nah, doesn't do anything. So let's try either the rook or the queen. I think it's the queen. No, not even the queen. So would it be this one? No. Oh my goodness, I'm totally gone on here. Uh, God. So maybe it's sacrifice. It's got to be some sort of sacrifice. That's what it is, right? It's some sort of sacrifice. So then now what is the move here? Well, now we want to get into this square, right? So the move would be right here, right? Because there's no way to block. Does that make sense? There's no way to block this. And so the queen cannot get into this diagonal. Oops. The queen cannot get into this diagonal to protect. The rook cannot, it can only go here. And if he goes here, he still loses. And so this is why this is the win right here. Totally wins. Uh uh you know, there's really nothing he can do. He can sacrifice that guy, and of course, this guy captures, and again, maybe he can do that, and we totally win material there. So that's the only way out of that one. Does that make sense? Cool. So we got it. All right. So let's go through this. The queen moves over, and we have now a rook and queen battery. The rook and queen battery are aiming at the queen, of course, attacking that pawn. Of course, you do have the knight here that can go into this, attack the queen in there, but there's the bishop protecting. But it's blocked to move. So what can we do? We look at the squares around the king. We have this diagonal here. So who can go on the diagonal? Maybe the bishop, but the knight takes. We have the queen that can go right in here for a possible checkmate right in there. Um, what else? We have, of course, pawn takes the knight, but of course, queen takes, and rook takes rook, and he wins. So what can we do here? I look for the unprotected pieces. All the white pieces are protected in this case. So what can we do? Um, let's look again. If we capture queen takes queen, we do have a check. Ooh, look at that one. We do have a check, and then we capture, and he captures, and we capture. And does that work? Does that work? Does that win us a piece? Let's see. We capture here. Queen takes queen. In between move is check, right? And then of course we take here. So we have three pieces. He's got two pieces. So or does he? No, he doesn't have. Uh, no, yeah, that. That would be the win, right? So capture, queen takes, in between move. Uh, ah, no, here. This is the in between move. Now we capture because then we captured this guy. So it's the other way around. So does that make sense, guys? Let me show you that one again. This is what they call an in between move. And so the idea is whoever eats first eats more. So I'm eating the knight first, right? Queen takes queen, we captured, and there comes the rook, right? There comes the rook, and the white's thinking, okay, I'm up the exchange, a rook for a bishop, and of course, yeah, right, and of course the bishop, the in between move check. An in between move is normally a check or a capture that attacks a greater value piece, and of course to that maybe moves out of the way, and the rook captures. Of course, this guy's going to capture here, or if not, then the rook's going to capture and keeping his pawns together. And he's still at a loss. Oh, but not only that, look at this. He goes here. Obviously, this guy might go here, and we capture this pawn, and we have two pawns to one pawn, and everything's going to fall apart from there. Again, in the end game, what do we do in the end game? Get rid of the problem. The problem would be the rook, and then attack the weak pawns, and until he gets into a weak position. All right, let's do the next one here. All right, let's do the next one here. All right. These are all attacks on the king. All of these puzzles are attacks on the king, exposing the king to more checks, going after the king. The king hunt, as you would say. Okay, the king's here. White just finished castling. Black to move. Okay, we look at the long range pieces. This guy's going there. This guy's aiming this direction. The queen's attacking, aiming at the queen. The rook's aiming at the rook. We do have a check by him captures. And of course, here we have, look at this. We have the queen protecting. The queen wants to capture the knight, but the queen's protecting. So the knight becomes a target. Yes, knight takes I say that's the move. Okay, let's see. Maybe. Yep. No, not that one. So think about this one. This is a little tricky, but it is with the same idea, Daniel, of knight takes the bishop. But there's a better move here. There's kind of like an in between move type of deal. And the idea here, believe it or not, is to check. Queen takes. Then we have a royal fork, but with a discovery on the queen. Boom. And the queen checks, and obviously, if this guy blocks, well, not a problem. If he blocks, then we check, and of course, he's got a capture, and we got three pieces. Basically something like that, or whatever, or just push the pawn, or maybe even just go here. But probably push the pawn, maybe, or whatever it is. I don't know. I think the best move would probably just be here. He gangs up on it. You know, here it is, and we're pretty much stopping. He goes here, we simply go here, he goes there, and of course we just push the pawn and move the king right behind the pawn and develop the bishop, bring the rook over, and it's totally. Does that make sense, Daniel? Yeah, I thought so. All right. So again, let's look at another one. Let's look at another puzzle. Here we go. And Daniel, yeah, I'm glad you texted me. Then you told me that this show and the puzzles that we're working on have been really helping your game, and that's really cool. I think your friend sent me a challenge, so I challenged him. I think it was like for 3 days or something like that per move, because I get kind of busy to play on immediate game or over the board right quickly. All right, so here we go. The knight goes here. Why does the knight go there? Because the rook has here checkmate. If queen captures here, it would be checkmate. And so the knight's defending. So what is the move here? What is the move? We can go check, right? And king moves, and we what can we do? We can capture, right? Or we can go check here, and the knight blocks, right? And then we go check here, and then we go check here. Yeah, I think that would look kind of pretty, right? So watch this. Look at this move. Check here, and the queen goes for the check, and then we have the checkmate. Do you see that fancy dancing there? Kind of fancy dance. Yeah, the whole idea is, I mean, we could go here, but that's just slows everything. Plus, if we capture here, if we go here, the queen captures here, and then he's got nothing. He can go here, but queen takes queen, pawn takes, no big deal. We simply go there, and everything's uh white doesn't have a thing. Does that make sense, Daniel? He doesn't have a thing. And so here the move is sacrifice the knight, again exposing the king to danger. The king can't go there. The king can go there. That's the only thing he can do. Well, the king moves here, then of course we have checkmate there, right? And of course the move to this sacrifice check is the knight takes. Of course, the queen goes check here. King must move down, and of course, this checkmate. And remember, checkmate is controlling the squares around the king. A lot of times, early on, we're taught that the queen's always in front of the king, protected by a pawn or two rooks, checkmates. But the thing is, it's always about. Thank you. It's always about controlling the squares around the king. And so this is a good puzzle because one of the things we see here is that sometimes it takes a sacrifice to expose the king to another check, and there's the other check followed by the checkmate. The king is left paralyzed. We kind of break through his force field, and he can't do anything. The position is frozen for him. Does that make sense? All right, so here we go again. All right, so the knight just moves here. Knight moves into the center, very good. He's also stopping this pawn. This pawn's not that strong. I mean, queen could have captured, but the queen needs to stay here. Why? Because of this battery, this rook and queen battery here for possible mates. The queen needs to stay here to protect. So what can we do? Well, we do have this, all right? What else do we have? We can think of anything the king that anytime the king's on the edge and we have two rooks or a rook and a queen, we got to think of two rook checkmates, two rook checkmates. So maybe the queen here and the rook here attacking the king and creating a checkmate. But the problem is the queen. How do we get the queen out of the way? That makes sense. How do we get that queen out of the way? So what do you think, guys? What can we do? What can we do in this case? We also have a pin here, right? In a sense, we have a pin here in a sense. Hey, look at here. Mario, ¿qué tal, Mario? How's it going? You doing all right? And Daniel says, let's take that pawn with the rook. Okay, I think so too, because it separates the queen from that corner, right? And okay, so let's try that. Let's try it. Boom. Yeah, that is the move. Right, that is the move. Very good. And then, of course, obviously, I dropped it early. The move would be right up here. Check. All right, the king runs, and notice there's the distance there, right? There's distance, and so the move would be just simply here. He didn't go for that one. Oh my goodness. No, you know why? Because look at this. Whenever you have two, look, if you go here, if you go there, I'll show you afterwards. Yeah, the pin is stronger. Yes, the pin is stronger because we'll get the queen. Anyway, if he moves the rook here, now then we have this check. Then we have this check, right? So if he moves the rook here, we have this check. And then of course when he moves, whenever he moves maybe down there, then of course we capture and then we're threatening checkmate here. And of course he has to go here to protect that square, right? So what do we have? We still have check here, right? Or yeah, we still have check here, right? And he can't go here, can't go there, can't go there, can't go there. So he's forced to go here. Activate a new piece every time. Boom. And he's got to go there. And of course, there's the checkmate. Oh man, that was pretty. If I can say it, I'll say it's pretty. So yeah, good job, Daniel. The move is to separate the queen, yeah, and then create the pin. Separate the queen from the square that needs to where the queen was protecting. So the queen takes, the queen comes down, the battery comes in, the queen attacks the king, the queen is attacking all of these diagonals and the little pawn's attacking that square, so the king only has that square. And yeah, this would win the queen too, but this is stronger because he can only get a bishop out of it. And of course, if he takes, no problem. We take that way. Maybe he moves here. If he moves here, then we have that move, right? We have that move, or we have no. This move is better. This move's stronger because then we can go here. Because either if he goes here, then we have checkmate here, right? Because of this. That makes sense. And if he moves this way, then we have check here, and he's got to go there. And of course, we do have the check and the knight blocks. And of course, we want to keep the queen here, but there's this rook there. So we simply go. Actually, here we can even go with this. And of course, he goes here, and then we have here or there. Uh, we wish we could go here, but let's say we go here. We can't capture the rook, though. We can't capture the rook. So maybe the move is here. Yeah, the move has to be here to attack here. So now he can't go here, and he can't go here. He can't go here. He has to go here, and we bring the rook in here. And there it is. Boom. Check, check, check. He's got to hide in there. And uh, what's the move here? Oh, here it is. An immediate there, right? Or what else? Or we could just sneak in. No, we can't sneak in. We can't sneak in because then he goes here. So the move would be just right there. He comes here, we attack him. He comes wherever he moves. And of course, there's the checkmate. Does that make sense? Either way you slice it, you're going to attack because you have great activity. All right. All right. So here we go. The bishop just moved. He's attacking the rook. The rook and queen battery. These guys are aiming at this pawn. The queen's protecting a similar position, right? Similar position. This is why you want to do puzzles because you learn these positions, you learn this particular checkmates, and you go after it. So the idea: do we capture? Queen takes. The queen doesn't have anything. Well, maybe we can move the queen here. and of course we win the queen in the next move, right? So we have that move. We can also maybe capture the bishop for free. If queen takes, then we have check, and he moves here. And what do we do if rook queen goes here when we have a rook there? We can't go there, but maybe we can. Uh, no, no, that might not work. That might. I think that will not work. But I think this works. Does that make sense, Daniel? He goes here. Yeah, that works because now we win the queen with this one. However, what if he? Yeah, he even if he does that, doesn't matter because the rook's protected. So he doesn't have. He's got a block, and of course we capture anyway. And he doesn't have anything. Now, if he goes here, uh, look at that. The bishop's still protecting, so we just capture. And of course, if he goes here, then what's the move? Well, look at these pawns. They're all on dark squares. They're all on dark squares. We have the bishop that rules in the dark squares. The king is inside. If this guy draws pretty much this he draws a square, the king is inside the square of this pawn. So we even have, of course, obviously that's the first move. That's the first move he takes. We can come in. We can even take the rook if we wanted to. And of course, if he goes here, then we simply sneak in there. Or we can even go here to attack this guy. He goes there. We simply go there. Um, Maybe he goes here. And of course, to that, we sneak in because he's got to protect. Right. And then, of course, we have the check. Oh, look at that. He's checkmated all himself. Bishop's here attacking these two squares. The queen is attacking all of the squares. So we're basically controlling all the squares around the king. And again, checkmate. Cool? Cool. And again, so let me show you this puzzle again. The move here, the move to look at, or is it? There it is. The idea is again the battery. Anytime a piece gets in front of the king, possible pin. Especially the queen. The queen gets in front of the king, possible pin. And that's what we do. We have two rooks coming into here, kind of like an Alekine's gun, but we're not even going to use the gun. He goes here. Of course, if he takes, then we just take the queen, and he takes, and then we have the checkmate. So he's got to give up the lady. He's got to give up the queen business way. So the idea is here, he's got to capture, and boom, and that creates this pin. If he blocks, then we eat it. Maybe he protects. We go here. He goes there, and the queen just moves out of the way. Wherever. Maybe moves here to attack the bishop. Maybe bishop goes there. Uh, no big deal. You can move the king up, or we can start moving in. We can start moving in, and this is still a hard game to play. This is still a hard game to play. But once the queen gets on this side, it's going to look, it's going to be very bad for black. But there is ways here. Remember, two rooks sometimes can give the queen a lot of trouble. But depends on how you use the queen. This is why you got to really learn to use the pieces effectively. But again, once the queen gets out here, these pawns are gone, and we have a pass pawn that somehow. But it's still a hard game. All right, all right. Let's look at the next one here. All right, so see what happens. The queen just moved from here to there, trying to come in through here, maybe trying to bring the rook inside or something. So what can we do? First of all, the queen here has left the king. This king is unprotected. The queen has no way of coming back over here to protect that square, and so sometimes that's not a wise decision. She captured a pawn over here. It's not good. Stay protecting your king, guys. The queen is aiming at the king, protecting that. He's aiming at this rook. So we do have rook sacrifice here. Rook takes. The rooks are unprotected, but I don't know if we can do well. The rooks are unprotected. Look at this, and then we have the knight here. attacking that. Or we do have the immediate attack on the knight. The bishop protects. Um, so let's see. The bishop protects. We can capture this guy over here, or we capture. He captures. The knight goes here for the checkmate. The king moves here. We simply capture check, and he goes here, and um, we have a knight here, and of course, we can capture. I think that's the move. What do you think, Daniel? What do you think? Rook sacrifice? Do we see it? Do we say a yes, Mario? A rook sacrifice? Un sacrificio de la torre? What do you think, guys? All right, cool. Uh, what do you think? Tell me what you think. Tell me what you see. Huh? See or no? Does it work? Let's see here. Hold on. All right, let's see here. Let me turn that one on. Another page that's going on. There it is. It finally went on. Uh, so so here we go. This page is on. All right. So what's the deal? Here we go. Okay. I thought I was working on that one, but I'm not. Okay. So yeah, let's try that. Yeah, rook sack first. I think so. I think rook sack. Yeah, you're right. And then of course here we have this, right? Yeah. And then of course from there there's this. King moves there. What can we do? The queen pawns too far to protect. Um the knight, oh, the knight can attack over here again. The knight can attack because if the rook goes here to attack, look at this long range piece. Boom. If the pawn attacks the queen simply moves to a better square, which would probably be right here, attacking for this check. If the knight goes, if the rook attacks the queen, uh, well, we just simply move out of the way, I guess. Uh, we can even move the knight here again. If he attacks, then we have a check. Or we can move the knight out of the way. Maybe putting the queen here. Maybe, hey, maybe just going right there. We're okay, right? Maybe going here, better here. That way we can create this. If this guy goes there, well, he's going after this, right? So what's the move? Maybe we should have gone here. Yeah, maybe the move should have been here. I think, yeah, you're right. Maybe the move should have been here. He comes into the 7th rank. We got the rook coming in. Right, we have the rook coming in. Yeah, we can move, just protect, and we're all fine. Nothing will happen to us. That makes sense. The idea is to protect. All right. Yeah, these are all 2000 rated puzzles, man. All right. So what do we got? The rook just moved here. What can we do? We got the rook going right there at it, but the rook's protected. The knight's in there. But look at this. We have a third piece. Always consider all the pieces, especially the long range pieces. This bishop's coming out of nowhere, and that gives us the advantage. So we're attacking with 3 pieces. He's protecting with 3 pieces. But whenever the king's on the same line as the bishop, you can always turn that into a diagonal, guys. So yeah, I think the move would be just right here. And we don't have to capture because look at this. We have a diagonal right there. But the idea is actually capture because he has to capture. Now, because this is a diagonal and that's called a pin, we attack the pin piece and now that rook is ours. He can't do anything about it. He moves to block, we capture. He moves to block, we capture. So he can't do anything. The pawns are too far. Does that make sense? And that's how we win the piece. And where once the rook gets on the 7th rank, he's going to be able to capture the pawns like crazy. All right, let's look at this again. Let's look at this. Uh, Here it is, right? Uh, the rook goes to protect. One, two, three, 4 pieces. One, two, three, four. And so white has a little bit of advantage with his pawns, right? So yeah. So the knight captures, right? Um, Rook will capture, and of course, rook captures again. And if rook wells away, well, that's fine. 3 to 3. If say the rook moves away, then we capture here. Because he captures, then again the pin. I always, when you have a pin, always attack the pin piece, and it's all over. Now, like I said, he can't do anything about it. So maybe he pushes the pawn, and again, the move is here, not the check. This guy moves this guy. What would be the move? Again, look at this. Because of this, we go boom. And of course, he's got to protect this guy, and we capture this, and it's all over. Again, it's all over here. What would the move be? Well, we could even capture. We could even capture here, right? But notice where the knight can go. The knight can go here, the knight can go there, the knight can go here, the knight can go there. So this is where you do one of these, and the bishop controls the squares where the knight's going to go. And it's all over. The rook can just go check, come capture this pawn, and then get right here and capture the knight. And it's all about controlling the squares where the pieces are going to go. Does that make sense, guys? Do you guys get it? All right, cool. So, guys, those are a couple of puzzles there. Also wanted to maybe go over some basic checkmate patterns. So let's go over a checkmate pattern that happens a lot. Let's see. Hold on. Let me see. Here it is. On it. Here we go. Checkmate pattern. Here we go, and we'll play this one against the computer. Again, here we have the two range pieces of basic checkmate pattern with the bishop and the rook. And obviously the rook will go right here, and we have a checkmate. Does that make sense? Now, here's another position. This is again some drills from Lee Chess on checkmate patterns. And again, we're with the whole idea. You have this bishop going right in here, right? And we have this battery. So the idea here would be boom, right there. Bishop takes, and then the rook comes in, and we have another checkmate. Very, very cool. Now, sometimes this pattern comes out of a double check. And the idea again, sacrifice the queen because it is a checkmate pattern. We have this rook aiming at the king. And so we create a double check like this. He moves. And then here's the basic checkmate pattern all over again. Does that make sense? And of course, this is a different checkmate pattern. Of course, this one's really easy. There we go. So we got the checkmate. So now let's create that checkmate pattern again. So what can we do here? All right. So what can we do? We can go this way, but rook takes, and then we have rook. No checkmate there. We can go here, sacrifice, king takes, but we have no rook coming in. So what is the move here? Well, the idea is maybe we go here, right? Right? Does that make sense? We could just go here, and he blocks. We go here, and then on the next move we have the checkmate. There it is. We're creating checkmate patterns, right? The pawn and checkmate. Here's another checkmate pattern: the queen and the knight attacking. The queen in front of the bad king, the queen protected by a piece. What is the move here? Well, this is almost going to be an Anastasia mate, right? An almost Anastasia. Mike solved the next one. Yeah, hey, Mike watching? Okay, I'll let Mike solve this one then. I didn't know he was watching. Hey, Milena de Colombia, how's it going? Risa from Brooklyn, New York is watching us. And of course, the rest of you guys are from the Valley. So what's the move here? The idea is the queen wants to checkmate, but there might be other checkmates here, other checkmate puzzles here. All right. Now, I was thinking maybe the sacrifice. I was thinking of maybe the knight sacrifice, right? The knight sacrifice here, but the queen just captures, right? So what else can we do? We have queen there, knight captures, and then of course we have this, but the king just moves here. And can we do it? Can we do it after that? Notice this bishop. This bishop's going right through there. This bishop's going right through here, right? So what do you think the move is? Well, one of the moves could be maybe attack. Uh, 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 the the rook captures the bishop to get out of here to open this up. That might be the move, right? There it is. And now we have this opening. Look at this. We now have this opening, and now we just simply create another check. So the other check might be Uh, well, if we go here, right? If we go here, the knight's going to capture, and of course we go here, and he moves into this position. So what else can we do? We can put the queen here, but knight takes, but then we can't do much. So what else can we do? We can sacrifice. We can sacrifice, can't we? Yeah, look at this. Watch this. Watch how this happens. Queen sacrifice, Daniel. He takes, right? Now, what can we do? Think about it. What can we do here? The idea is we can capture the queen if we want to, right? We can capture the queen if we want to. What else can we do? Huh? Well, let's capture the queen. Let's say we capture the queen. He takes, right? Now what else? We have this, right? We have this, and what else? I think we messed up or something. This is taking too long. Because it's taking too long from here. Yeah, this was taking too long. Hold on, we messed up here. I don't know. Hold on. I think I made a bad move. Yeah. Click to retry. Let's click to retry. All right. So what do you think the move is? Think about it. Mike solved the next one. Okay. So a queen sacrifice. Now I was thinking she sacrifice, but rook takes too long to get here. You know. But that might be the answer. Okay. What about if the knight moves out of the way? The knight moves out of the way, check, right? That's better. Queen goes there. What's the move now? Now watch what the move is. What if the queen sacrifice here, right? And now look at this bishop here, pinning this pawn. The rook goes here. And then, of course, now we have back to the same checkmate of the bishop and the rook, and we got it. Does that make sense? Let's see. Let me retry that other one. I can't go back to it. All right, I can't go back. That's one of the things I don't like about this one. Again, this is another checkmate puzzle. There it is. Boom. I'm again. Okay, so let's try another one. This is kind of like fools make type of puzzles. Again, the idea is to control every square around the king. I call this the arrowhead checkmate because it creates an arrow. So there it is. Boom, checkmate. All right, so let's see how we create that. Same arrowhead checkmate. We're going after the white king with arrowhead checkmate. So what can we do? All right, so the idea here is to create an attack here, but this guy is there. So how are we going to do that, man? How are we going to do that? So let's see. We can go here, and he moves out of the way. He has to block, right? I guess he has to block. What else can we do? If we go here, rook takes, but the bishop can't capture here without. He's not protected. Now, what happens if we do it in reverse? What if the bishop takes, the rook takes, and then we go check here? He's got to move there, and that should do it, right? No, because now he can attack here. I think that's the move. Let's see. Uh, Bishop captures. All right. So what's the move here? We go here, check, and then right here we simply go. We can go push pawn, but we lose this guy. So we can go check here. He captures, and then what's the move here? Here it is. Checkmate. And we got this. He missed it. Does that make sense? It's all about creating the checkmate patterns, guys. All right, here we go. We wish you could go here because of the battery. We wish you could go here with the battery. And so what can we do? So here, we have the rook here, all right? And of course, the key's got to drop down. And I think that's the move. Rook goes here. He didn't like it. He didn't like it. He already says he didn't like it. So we have check, and he moves, and then we don't have the checkmate down here. Right? We don't have the checkmate. Right? So that's not the answer because he went nah. Right? It says click to retry it. Okay. So what do you think? Come on, guys. What do you think? So we do have check here, and yeah, I think that's the one, right? Check up here because he that's checkmate. We missed the checkmate, or I missed the checkmate in one, right? Okay, here we go. We're trying to checkmate this guy. So obviously here to attack here, he moves here, and there's the pattern, right? Look at here, guys. Check. He moves down, and there we go. Again, there's the arrowhead checkmate. This one's easy because look, the king. We need to control these squares. Who can control that squares? The queen. Does that make sense, guys? Does that make sense? Hey, Lydia, how's it going? Hey, how's it going? So yeah, that's the moves, guys. Cool. So guys, go on this one and do some of those drills, and man, you'll learn this checkmate patterns like crazy. All right, let me stop sharing with that one, and let me add another. Let me go to uh, let me go to my analyze board, and let's go over a game. What game do we want to go over today? Um, let's see. Let's go over. Let's go over this game. Let's see. This is a quick game. Yeah, about 30 moves. No, 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 less than that. Hold on, hold on. Yeah, let's go with this one about 30 moves. Let's see what happened with this one. 30 moves, checkmate. White to move. So let's look at this. Easy, pump it up, right? All right, so here we go. This is a Grandmaster game. These games here are titled. Hold on. I forget. Hold on. Let me move my thing here, and let me give you the title of this one. Oh, this is Connect the Dots. Connect the dots. Everything's connecting. Boom, 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 boom. Connect the dots. So white moves the knight to f3, guys. Ooh, run board, run board. Where's my board? What's the board that I'm looking at? I'm looking at this board. Let me bring it over here. And you know what? Hold on. Yeah, let me bring it over here, and there you go. Okay. So knight f3. There we go. Knight f3 and knight f6. Okay, both knights come out at the same time. This is not a typical opening where they control the center with e4, e5. This is more hyper modern. And when hyper modern opens up, they attack normally with finchetto bishops on the side. So both of them move their knight pawns. Whenever you move a knight pawn, the bishop simply wants to move into these little holes that got created, right? And so in this case, the move here, instead of the bishop going here, white simply moves c4, and then black continues with the bishop to g7. All right, let me keep my finger here, and of course now the the move is this, and the reason he pushed that pawn is to stop action on that square for now. Okay, they both castled at this point, right? Black castles and white castles. And you can see that they both have a bishop protecting the king. You have the knight protecting the king. It's got a sweet little house here. And it's always best to protect your king, right? All right, the knight develops because it's still the opening. In the opening, we want to develop our knights, and we want to develop our bishops, knights and bishops, and we want to castle, and of course we want to control the center. When we do that, we got a good opening going. All right, so the knight goes to c6. um you know Whenever you move a bishop pawn 2 squares, the knight's always going to come right behind it. And again, you can see that white is controlling the center squares. White is controlling the center squares. He's attacking, and of course his bishop's still attacking right through here. So all of these squares are under white's influence. Black is also has the same thing with the 2 knights here. Has the same thing, and they're both attacking both squares. But white has a little bit more influence on the center there. All right. So again, hold on. D6 is played. And why is d6 played? Because the bishop wants to develop. The bishop wants to come out. Bishops can't move unless the pawn moves. And of course, here it is. d4. 2 pawns in the center, or 2 pawns together, control 4 squares. And again, this is also called space. Space is the squares behind the pawns, so all the way to the pawn line. So white here has 4 squares of space, whereas black only has has 2 squares of space. In fact, white has 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 squares of space. So white has more real estate. He's got more territory. His territory is greater than black's. Therefore, he's going to have more freedom to move his pieces. I always like to say the pawns that are advancing that are together creating a backyard so that you can your pieces can move freely in there. Okay, so then to that, a little pawn move is done, and the idea is to stop the knight from going there. A lot that's very useful move, and the pawns keep pushing, creating more space, and a little pawn attacks big piece. Little pawn attacks big piece is a grandmaster move. That knight has to waste time, has to move again. He didn't want to move the knight. He wanted to develop the bishop maybe to g4, or maybe he wanted to push a pawn or something, or maybe he wanted with the rook to e8, but he couldn't because his little pawn is harassing that knight. So grandmaster move number 5, little pawn attacks big piece. All right, the knight simply moves back here, attacking this weak pawn there for now, and we gotta make a crazy move here, believe it or not. And instead of developing the bishop or maybe even pushing the pawn, the move is the knight. The knight moves back, steps back, allows the bishop to have a little bit more of the diagonal, and with that knight move, he protects. This guy is more than likely going to land here, attacking this diagonal through here. It's all about the bishops attacking on the long diagonals, right? All right, c5, boom. Now here we could go en passant if we want to, but again, that probably wouldn't help because the pawn would just come in, and then that would help the black's pawn structure. He's probably not going to capture, which he doesn't. So what's the move here? F3. Why? Because he's protecting that square. He wants to push, and if it's captured, another pawn takes his place. He's going to create the pawn roll. The pawn chain is just going to move up the board. All right. So here we go. F3 and hold on. I messed up, guys. Hold on. All right, c5, queen. No, this is not the move. This is not the move. The move is queen c2. There it is. It was the queen to c2 with the idea of attacking this square. Again, the idea is still controlling the center, attacking this pawn for the pawn push to go to e4. I saw something else. e5. All right, e5 is pushed again. We have en passant, but he doesn't do that. So he goes b3, and now this bishop, the queen moves here to protect the bishop as well, just in case his bishop had any ideas. That makes sense. And this is called a pawn chain, very, very strong. All right, so the knight goes to g4. Now, this is a bad move. Why? Because you're moving the same piece twice. What do I move? What do I mean by moving the same piece twice? The knight went here, and now he moves here a second time. And it's called moving the same piece twice because this bishop hasn't developed. Once you develop your knights and your bishops, you can then start moving the same pieces again. You know, you remember in the opening, you got to control the center. You got to develop your knights and your bishops, both knights, both bishops, so that the rooks connect with each other. Of course, castle in between there and move the queen to the second or third rank, and you're going to be fine. But this guy moves the knight a second time, and that doesn't help him. So again, the pawn push to e4. Pawn push is protecting the pawn. Pawns are protecting the pawn. This pawn on d5 is very important. It's going to create some major chaos. There's also coming up would be an f4 push. And again, these pawns are going to be massive. All right. So this guy goes f5. Very good move. The idea is to break the whenever you castle to the same side. Okay, in other words, both kings are castled to the same side. All right. When kings are castled to the same side, one of the strategies is to either play f4 or f5. Black chose to play f5, which gives the rook a little bit of breathing room to be able to attack on the on the file, on the f file. So that's why that happens. Of course, here uh, uh, is e captures the pawn, and of course g captures the pawn, and the king is left a little bit open. So white needs to move fast to take advantage of this. Does that make sense? And again, here's another funny move. The knight moves back to D1 with the idea of going here and challenging this knight, and of course attacking this pawn there, or maybe even to go to F2. But also the idea is he's controlling this square because the pawn moves, the knight can always jump in there. And this is why you always prepare the move. You always prepare the move. Okay, here comes B5 to attacking the pawn, try to block the chain. And like I said, there's the pawn push. The knight cannot move here because the knight's there. The knight can't go here because the rook and the knight and the king are there. The knight takes the pawn, the king is there. So this knight has to move away. Has to move one. He's crossed the frontier line. We capture or we push him away. In this case, we push him away. So we tell him, hey, go away. So, man, I lost the place. What was it? F3. Hold on. F3. So this guy does not move. Does not move. The knight, he simply pushes the pawn. Boom, he pushes the pawn. And of course, to that, and he pushes the pawn because look at this. He says, take my knight, I'll take your rook. And that's how you got to play, guys. And so the move here is that the bishop moves here. The bishop's protected by the queen. The bishop's protected by the knight. But more importantly, the bishop's attacking the bishop that's attacking him. And so bishop attacks bishop. Here, the move is pawn takes the pawn and bishop takes, and the bishop's attacking the knight. Does that make sense? To that, of course, is bishop takes bishop and queen takes the bishop, and the queen's attacking on the long diagonal, looking for checkmates on these two squares. Focal points where checkmate will happen, right? The knight goes to E5, again, blocking the path of the queen, closing the door on his path, right? And of course, the bishop wants to control that square, so the bishop goes here, controlling these two squares. It's all about control. It's all about control. Don't allow your opponent to cross the frontier line, and if he does, take away every single square that he can get on. Control the squares where he wants to land, and he will start making mistakes. All right. So let's see. F4, the pawn continues to push. All right. He wants to break it. So boom, that's okay. Pawn takes pawn. The bishop comes in. Boom. All right. Invade. The bishop invades. No problem. Right. Now look at this move. Who's stronger, the bishop or the rook? Well, in this case, it's the rook that's stronger. But let's see. Did I lose the move? Yes. The move is, look at the knight moves. The knight moves there. Why? Because we need a rook on this square. And moving it would just be a waste of time. So the knight gets to a better square so he can go to this square or that he can go to that square. And that's what he does. The bishop captures, and of course the rook takes his place, and the pawn is still protected. That makes sense. That's the idea, guys. Sometimes you have a bad piece, and even though a smaller piece attacks it, you get rid of the bad piece and you replace it, and you keep control of. You keep the initiative. The knight, when the pawn attacks the piece runs away, so the knight goes to G6, and here comes the bishop. Boom. Where is he going? He's going to this little square here, protected by the pawn. This is called an outpost square. An outpost square is a square across the frontier line that's protected by your pawn, and no other pawns can attack that square. No enemy pawns can attack that square. So this is an outpost square. It's a camp inside the enemy camp, and it's a safe camp. And from there, you create operations that are going to totally destroy the opponent, because it's a camp that's actually attacking the king. It's not necessarily across his territory and just attacking somewhere else. No, it's normally a camp that's ready to attack the king. It's setting up the position for a lot of bad situations here. So the bishop goes to G4. The knight captures the pawn, no big deal, right? And of course, look at this. The rook takes, boom. Another kind of like sacrifice. Rook takes back, right? And then of course we have the check. Now the check exposes the king to checks. Uh, the Notice that the king cannot move here because the queen would then come in with the check. So this guy blocks the path there. And again, there comes the knight. Where's the knight going? He's going to this square. Notice that the knight's also controlling this square in case the queen wants to give the king a check. So even though the king's exposed, all his pieces are protecting him. We got the queen aiming at these two squares. And now with this rook's useless because of this pin. Remember, the pin piece loses the power to capture, to attack, and to do just about anything. The queen goes to g4, attacking the knight and also attacking possible checks down here. And so what do we think? All right. So the knight captures the pawn, gang up on the rook. There was also a check involved here too, but the queen's just going to stay on this diagonal here. All right. So the queen, it's not a check, so the queen goes check and attacks the knight, right? So what do you think here? Now, the knight could go here and block, but instead, look again, another sacrifice here. The king just moves out of the way because he knows he's got this check here that can happen. All right. The rook goes to a8 with the idea of protecting here what's going to happen. And the bishop checks. The rook takes back. All right. And then watch what happens here. Boom. Queen sacrifice. Now watch. The king can't go anywhere. The queen has to capture. And of course, the knight takes the rook with a royal fork. The king moves wherever he wants to, and the knight captures the queen. And this is your queen right here. Pass pawn. He's going to travel up here. As soon as we get rid of the knight, the king's going to march to the middle of the board to help the pawn out. And it's all over. Black resigns in this position, guys. Again, the idea of how the and you'll just go, wow, dang, yeah, just the way the pieces moves, guys. They just moving forward. They're controlling the squares where his opponent wanted to land, and it didn't matter that he was sacrificing or what we call, there were sacrifices, but they were called exchanges. And exchanges when like a rook takes a knight, or in the reverse. Let's say they capture that. Does that make sense? Hey, Mike Marshall, thank you, man. I'm glad you're here watching, man, and learning a little bit. Does that make sense? So we're gonna start playing, watching more games of the grandmasters and masters and all of that, and hopefully we can start imitating their style of play, guys. Does that make sense? All right, cool deal, man. So awesome, guys. I recommend, if you guys can look for it, I will recommend a book for you right now. Let me see here. Here we go. Let's see if you guys see it. This is called The 6 Power Moves of Chess. I talk about this all the time. Look it up. Here it is. It's by William K. Excellent book. I've played games under this. Basically, it talks a lot about a lot of different things, but the main idea is the 6 Grandmaster moves. Grandmaster move number 1. Let me put them up here for you guys. Grandmaster move. Where am I? Where am I? Here we go. So the Grandmaster moves are a good check, guys. A good check is a check that wins material, a check that forces the king to move, a check that gains tempo. That's a good check. Anytime you can attack the queen, this is Grandmaster move number 2, is attack the queen. It gains tempo. You might not capture the queen, but pieces move up and harass the queen, and your pieces are landing on better squares as you're doing that. It gains tempo. Anytime it's your turn, look for the unprotected pieces. Attack the unprotected pieces. These are your targets. You can create forks, you can create skewers, you can create x-rays, you can create pins. Attack the unprotected piece. Grandmaster move number 4 is create a pin. We saw that with the bishop pinning the rook, and then we gang up. We apply pressure to the pin piece, and that's how we wind up winning and turning those pieces into vulnerable, useless pieces. And of course, grandmaster move number 5 is little pawn attacks big piece. Little pawn, 1 point, attacks a knight. Knight is 3 points, attacks a bishop. Bishop's 3 points, attacks a rook. Rook's 5 points, attacks a queen. Queen's 9 points. So nobody's going to capture the little pawn when the little pawn's protected. Little pawn attacks big piece. Always gains a temple. Always gains a temple. And of course, the final, and you see this one a lot in the end game, is create a pass pawn. That's what the end game's all about this grandmaster move, creating pass pawns so that the pawn can be protected, promote, and then once you promote, you got to checkmate within 6 to 8 moves. Sometimes 4 to 6 moves, but that's what you want to do. So that book here deals a lot with those 6 grandmaster moves, six power moves of chess. That makes sense. And I love teaching about them. I love teaching my students to look for those moves. Every time it's your turn, you should look for one of those moves to make. Then if you don't find one of them, then you go to your tactics. You know, does that make sense? That kind of deal. So guys, we will let you go. Thank you. We'll see you next week, Saturdays at 7 with Coach Ray. Let's see who might join me next time. If Dave feels a little bit better, then he'll come up. If not, uh, you know, let's see what happens. So take care. Those of you that are on lead test, yeah, you can always send me challenges to El Caballero BRK. That's capital BRK at the end. And let's see how it goes. Some more coming. Yes, have a great night. Hey, awesome, good. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go listen to some live music at El Hueso downtown on Elizabeth. So yeah, let's take care, man. Awesome. Have a great. Hey, it's still not too late, and it's still early enough to come up with some uh, resolutions. What are you going to do to advance your chess to the next level this year? It's 2023. What are we going to do? Guys, I suggest you work on some puzzles. Uh, 10 to 30 puzzles a day. You can do them on lead chess. If you go on lead chess here, in fact, you know what? Let me share that with you because you need to know this. If you go to lead chess, here we go. Let me go here. Any puzzle will do, I guess. Here we go. If you go to lead chess, let me see if I can do this. Which one is it? Which one is it? Yeah, here we go. If you go to lead chess and you not bring it down a little bit, all right, first of all, these are normal, but we can change that. Oh, look at this where it says sacrifice here. I don't know if you can see this. If you click on that, this window opens, and then you can create puzzles, or not so much create puzzles, but you want to do puzzles or whatever. You want to do puzzles on the queen and rook. You click on that, and every puzzle is going to be about queens and rooks and that kind of deal. So the queen attacking this guy, what do? We simply move out of the way, right? We can simply move out of the way. So we move out of the way. Here we go. And of course, he moves into this. What do? We can move the rook out of the way, or we can queen. But if we queen, this happens. So what can we do here? Uh, maybe we can go into this position, right? And there it is. He didn't like that move. So maybe we can go. Maybe this is the move here. No. What was the move? What would the move be? I wonder if the move would be. I don't think it would be that one. I think it would just be that because you're not going to let the king go out, and the queen has no way to stop here. Does that make sense? So that's what you want to do, man. And these are challenging. These are challenging. Again, queen and rook. What's the best move? Well, you have a pawn here. The king can go right in here to get in front of the pawn. So believe it or not, this is the move. He moves here. You capture. He captures. And then what do? We create either here or there. I think this is the move. This is the move here. Because if he moves here, then we go here. And then no matter what he does, you see, boom, it's over. Because we have these 3 squares. Does that make sense? So this is what you want to do, man. You got this. He goes this way. You still capture. He captures. The king gets in front. He goes here. You go there. If he goes here, uh, opposition. If he goes here, you can push the pawn. He goes here. Uh, maybe you go this way. You know. If he goes here, then there it is. Boom. There it is again. See, there it is again. And you get the queen, he goes here, and you got checkmate. Does it make sense? So the idea is that, this is what you want to do. You want to do another puzzle. Okay, let's see. You want to do, let's say, puzzles, pawn end games. These are hard, guys. Pawn end games. So white to move. What do we do? Well, if we go here, he's going to capture. So we go here. He pushes. We move the king out of the way, right? We move the king. Maybe we go here because he's got to go. There we go. He goes there. He's going to push. We can push. We can push. Queen. All right. Now, let's say he pushes, right? So what do? We want to attack the pawn. So maybe we go pawn attack, right? He's got to protect. Here we go. Guess what? Maybe he goes here. We have maybe here because he's got to go here. Now watch this little dance here, guys. He goes here because that forces him there, and of course we go here. He goes here. We go there. He goes here, and we go there. Guys, this is stuff you guys have to know, and you won't if you don't drill it, you can get it out of the puzzles, man. Does that make sense? So it's good stuff. Lead test is one of the best training tool out there. So use it, enjoy it. I'm sure your goal should be, man, maybe hit of, uh, you know, 500 points this year, maybe 600 points, maybe 800 points, maybe 1,000 points this year. I don't know. Set your goals and go after 'em. You can do it. You guys are awesome. Again, guys, we will see you next time we see you. And good.